Welcome back to Exotic Car Play Place, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Have you seen the new Lexus IS series of cars? The redesign, the restyle for this year. That's right, I have. I've taken a closer look and I was very much impressed. Now, coming from the BMW background, everybody can appreciate BMW provides a great car, amazing styling and innovation, and above all, performance. Well, you know what? Recently, I think BMW is starting to quake in their boots. Their 3 Series now has some strong competition, and it's a new Lexus IS. Maybe it's time Lexus puts BMW in check. Let's talk about it now.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with Exotic Car Play Place.
So my first impressions walking around the new Lexus IS is pretty amazing. I find the car has some great lines. They've also sort of dimmed down the front grille that's previously known to be slightly obnoxious. The lines are great. They've created some flair on the rear fenders. If you pan around the car, you'll notice just the overall look of the car looks very stylish. They're still true to the roots of Lexus, but they've cleaned up the lines just nicely in many ways. If you look on the back, they've added this great spoiler, adding a sporting touch. Looking down at the dual exhaust system, also looks very stout. The newly designed rims also fit the piece, and if you look at the interior of the new Lexus IS, you'll find it looks very high quality. It has a very much an LC500 feel to it by its very nature. Now, of course, it's tamed down a little bit, but you're not spending that sort of money to buy this new Lexus IS as you would the LC. The overall fit and finish of the new Lexus IS seems to be a little bit better too. Look at examples like the mirrors, the headlights, the front spoiler, the rear splitter, and even just the accent trim along the windows. Everything seems to be stepped up substantially. Now, there's some unfortunate news from the Lexus side, is they still provide in the Lexus IS 300 rear-wheel drive, still only comes out with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine that makes about 240 horsepower. But if you step up to the IS 300 all-wheel drive, it gives you a base 3.5-liter variable valve timed engine that makes about 260 horsepower. But the most exciting current IS model is the IS 350 all-wheel drive, and is the 311 horsepower all-wheel drive version of the IS with the same 3.5-liter V6 slightly up-tuned with the variable valve timing. Now, the unfortunate part is Lexus hasn't done a whole lot to change anything there. The drivetrains are all virtually unchanged, all the same old news. And that's when we talk about comparing it with BMW, BMW is always pushing forward, trying to make better drivetrains, better designs, better innovation, and truly BMW at this segment is arguably the better performance car. Through and through. If you're looking at the base model 330, probably you may even consider going with the Lexus IS 300 all-wheel drive, because that compared to the xDrive BMW 3 Series are very comparable in terms of horsepower, but you get the naturally aspirated V6 in the Lexus and arguably its top level reliability that goes with that. So the Lexus IS 300 is probably as good or better than the base model 3 Series BMW. However, if you step into the 3-liter turbocharged 6-cylinder driven BMW 3 Series, the M340i, that car creates 382 horsepower with that B58 engine. That's the same engine that you can find in the upscale current generation Toyota Supra. So there's likely an argument to be made that it's semi-durable and hopefully will last the test of time. Is it going to be more reliable than the current generation IS 350? Time will tell. Lexus has a pretty stout product there, although slightly bland at the very least. So that's where I would go with the BMW because of its performance roots. Now, they both have 8-speed automatic transmissions available, so that's pretty much a wash. They're both all-wheel drive. They both produce great performance numbers with the BMW edging out. But the real trick now comes in the next generation. For next year, we're talking about the brand new M3 BMW versus next year in 22, you can expect the brand new IS 500F. Now, what's super exciting about the new Lexus IS 500F is the fact that it uses the same ISF engine from a generation previous. That's right, it uses that 5-liter V8 naturally aspirated engine, but now makes 472 horsepower, so it's up a hair. It's essentially the same engine that you'll also find in the LC500. So it's a great staple. It's super durable, it's reliable, and it actually sounds amazing. And the best thing we can do is compare it to the brand new M3 that's just being released right now, which uses now the revised 3-liter twin-turbo engine and is available in 2 formats. You can essentially get it in the base model, which is the 473 horsepower engine, which you can still get with a manual gearbox, or if you step up to the competition, it's only available in the automatic, but it produces over 500 horsepower. The M3 actually also puts down about 10 pound-feet torque more than the naturally aspirated V8 of the Lexus, and that's largely due to the fact that when turbos come on, they usually give you that solid torque thrust that is hard to duplicate. But now the M3 competition, similar to the M5 competition, is a strongly rear-biased all-wheel drive system. So you can get the back end hanging out really well, but still you have the all-wheel drive sure-footedness. You can also get adaptive dampers and adaptive brake pedal feel in the BMW. Now, because the new M4 has a similar drivetrain as the X4M, and the X4M was able to crack a 0 to 60 time of about 3.3 seconds, there's very little to doubt that the new M3 competition could snap off a 0 to 60 mile per hour time of close to 2.9 seconds. Time will tell. It's just coming out now to market, so we'll see very soon, but I would expect staggering and blistering acceleration from the BMW. Whereas the Lexus keeps things a little simpler. Lexus claims the new IS 500 to crack 4.5 seconds in the 0 to 60, and there's little room to doubt that, and that may even be quite a conservative value. As a matter of fact, I would expect it to be more like 3.9 to 4.2 range, to be honest, once you get some of the independent testers throwing this car around on the racetrack. How about from a styling perspective? How about the BMW base model M3 is expected to come with 18-inch rims on the front, 19 on the back, or if you step up to the competition, you'd expect to get 19s on the front and 20s on the rear. Whereas the Lexus, it's going to be 19-inch rims all the way around. So the question has to be asked, is Lexus truly stepped up to the point where they're going to dominate over the BMW? The way it looks right now, not a chance. Now, while they're coming out with the IS 500, as many fans have asked, it's not going to be the hardcore fire-breathing track-rated monster that you'd find in the old ISF model. This is an IS 500F. It's sort of slightly a softened up version. It's not going to be as loud. It's not going to be as aggressive on the track. Whereas the M3 competition is, and it's truly going to be dialed in, aggressive. It's going to have gold brake calipers, very rigid suspension, to the kind of actually possibly spine braking. But the overall intent of the BMW is going to be hardcore driving experience, whereas a Lexus is going to be a lot more like the LC500, where it's going to be a strong, powerful, nice sounding, smooth, reliable, comfortable V8 engine that produces a decent level of performance. So there's two distinct differences. When you're getting down into the base models of the IS series, you would expect that there's better choices and comparisons, particularly with the bottom of the line engines. If you decide you want to step up to something with a little bit more jam, that's where the M340i, I say, would be the car to have in the BMW world. All in all, do you think Lexus is about to take over the crown of performance car of the year? Sorry guys, I don't think so. BMW still owns that and looks like they're going to continue to own that, as the 3 Series is truly the legendary model for BMW, and they don't really want to relinquish that crown just yet. And just in case this becomes more and more clear that you want BMW, be sure to check out that video. I do a little bit of a discussion and my first impression about the new styled grille and the 4 Series BMWs. So be sure to check it out. I'm sure you're going to love it. Hope to see you guys real soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.